Rare juvenile Ceratosaurus fossil sells for $30.5 million at Sotheby's. A fossil just sold for $30.5 million. Why this dinosaur is worth more than gold. Imagine a dinosaur fossil fetching a jaw-dropping $30.5 million at auction. This is not just any fossil, it's a Ceratosaurus, one of only 4 known specimens of its kind. This remarkable find, hailed as one of the finest and most complete examples of its species, was auctioned at Sotheby's in New York after an intense 6-minute bidding battle. The juvenile Ceratosaurus nasicornis, a carnivorous dinosaur from the late Jurassic period, was sold for a price that far exceeded its initial estimate of $4 million to $6 million. A unique discovery. Unearthed in 1996 at the Bone Cabin Quarry in Wyoming, this extraordinary fossil is not only around 150 million years old but also stands out as the only juvenile among the 4 known Ceratosaurus specimens. It measures an impressive 10 feet, 8 inches, 3.25 meters, in length and reaches a height of 6 feet, 3 inches, 1.9 meters. The fossil comprises 139 bone elements, including 57 that form a remarkably intact skull. The Ceratosaurus was a fierce predator, characterized by its sharp teeth, a distinctive nasal horn, and bony armor that adorned its back and tail. The high auction price and the excitement surrounding its discovery highlight the increasing demand for dinosaur fossils, which have captivated the interest of both collectors and researchers alike. The fossil's journey. Prior to its sale, the Ceratosaurus fossil was on display at the Museum of Ancient Life in Thanksgiving Point, Utah, from 2000 to 2024. Despite its prominence, it has yet to be formally described in any scientific journals, leaving ample opportunity for future research. Sotheby's auction house announced that the buyer intends to loan the fossil to an institution, ensuring it continues to contribute to scientific exploration. The sale of this Ceratosaurus is part of a broader trend reflecting a growing fascination with rare fossils. Interestingly, the auction also featured the largest known piece of Mars on Earth, which sold for $5.3 million. This surge in interest in natural history goes beyond mere collecting. It signifies a deeper curiosity about the forces that have shaped life on our planet and beyond. The debate over fossil auctions. While the record-setting sale has generated excitement within the fossil market, it has also attracted criticism from various experts. For instance, Steve Bruzat, a paleontology professor at the University of Edinburgh, has raised concerns about the implications of such high-priced fossil auctions. He questions whether these specimens will remain accessible for public education and research, suggesting they might end up in the mansion of an oligarch or a bank vault rather than being shared with the public. Conversely, others like Mark Westgarth, a professor specializing in the history of the art market at the University of Leeds, view the auction as part of a long-standing relationship between the fossil market and scientific research. Westgarth points out that historically, the fossil market has played a crucial role in stimulating public interest and research activities, referencing the contributions of Mary Anning, a pioneering fossil hunter from the 19th century. What do you think? Is the high price of fossils a sign of progress in paleontological research, or does it hinder public access to these treasures? Share your thoughts in the comments. 150-million-year-old dinosaur fossil sold for $30.5 million. Imagine a creature so fearsome, it ruled the Jurassic period with a distinctive horn on its nose and a reputation for ferocity. Meet the Ceratosaurus, a dinosaur so rare that only 4 of its skeletons have ever been unearthed, and one of them just shattered records in a way that's sparking both awe and debate. A 150-million-year-old juvenile Ceratosaurus fossil, once proudly displayed at Utah's Museum of Ancient Life, sold for a staggering $26 million at a Sotheby's auction in New York, totaling $30.5 million with fees, making it the 3rd most expensive dinosaur fossil ever sold, according to the New York Times. But here's where it gets controversial. This piece of prehistoric history now belongs to Fossilogic, a private Utah-based paleontology company, leaving many to wonder if science just lost out to a collector's wallet. #### the fossil's legendary pedigree. This wasn't just any dinosaur. At 6 feet tall and 11 feet long, it's the only known juvenile Ceratosaurus skeleton ever found, unearthed from Wyoming's famed Bone Cabin Quarry. State paleontologist James Kirkland, who's named 25 dinosaurs, and counting, calls Ceratosaurus a rock star of the ancient world due to its intimidating horns and massive size. It's like the Jurassic equivalent of a T-Rex, he explains, but with a built-in helmet. Sotheby's auctioneer Phyllis Cow hailed the specimen as one of the most important and rarest fossils to ever hit the market, noting its bones were painstakingly prepared over years. Fossilogic's founder, Brock Sisson, who custom-mounted every bone, the skull alone took 2.5 months, admits, "If it ends up in a private collection, I'd be disappointed, but history shows these fossils always resurface in museums eventually." ## The science versus collector's dilemma. Kirkland, who hopes some of the sales windfall might fund future discoveries, bluntly states, $26 million could uncover dozens of unknown dinosaurs. Yet Sisson plans to reinvest proceeds into Utah paleontology, arguing, "This isn't the end of the story, it's just a new chapter." And this is the part most people miss. While critics lament the loss of public access, the sale highlights a harsh reality. As Kirkland notes, fossils like this are too valuable for most museums to afford. The question is, do we risk losing them to private hands, or do we find a way to make them accessible and sustainable? ## Your turn. Should irreplaceable fossils like this belong to the world, or is private ownership a necessary evil for their preservation? Sound off in the comments. The $30.5 million Ceratosaurus fossil sale, uncovering a rare dinosaur treasure. A jaw-dropping $30.5 million has just been spent on a rare Ceratosaurus fossil, an eye-watering price that's igniting fresh debate about who really gets access to Earth's most astonishing natural treasures. This is a story that intertwines awe, controversy, and a fascinating glimpse into both ancient history and modern priorities. Let's start with what makes this fossil so extraordinary. Only 4 Ceratosaurus fossils have ever been discovered, and the one that just sold at Sotheby's in New York is the sole juvenile among them. Auction house Sotheby's described it as not only one of the most pristine and complete specimens ever unearthed, but also highlighted its unique composition, composed of 139 separate bones, an astounding 57 of which make up its almost perfectly intact skull. For anyone new to paleontology, Ceratosaurus nasicornis was a remarkable predatory dinosaur. Imagine a ferocious creature equipped with a prominent nasal horn, sharp teeth designed for tearing meat, and a line of bony armor stretching down its back and tail. This particular fossil, uncovered in 1996 at Wyoming's Bone Cabin Quarry, stands about 6 feet 3 inches tall and measures nearly 11 feet in length, capturing a snapshot from the late Jurassic era some 150 million years ago. But here's where it gets controversial. Despite being displayed at Utah's Museum of Ancient Life for almost a quarter of a century, this fossil has never been formally studied or described in scientific literature. And after a brisk, 6-minute bidding war involving 6 determined parties, the final price soared far above pre-auction estimates of $4 million to $6 million. If you're wondering who has that kind of cash to drop on dinosaur bones, and you're not alone, Sotheby's announced that the anonymous buyer intends to loan the specimen to an institution. But as paleontologist Dr. Steve Brzat from the University of Edinburgh points out, promises like these often remain vague, raising concerns about whether such treasures might ultimately vanish into private hands, stashed in vaults or luxurious mansions, more an investment than an inspiration for public curiosity or scientific progress. What does it mean for future generations or for aspiring young scientists if dinosaurs become just another plaything for the mega-wealthy, he wonders. Meanwhile, the same Sotheby's auction also saw the largest known piece of Martian meteorite on Earth fetch $5.3 million, fueling even more intrigue about our collective fascination with natural wonders. As Cassandra Hatton, the global head of science and natural history at Sotheby's, put it, these remarkable sales are evidence of humanity's unending wonder about both our planet's past and the cosmos beyond. But this rush to own pieces of natural history isn't without precedent. Mark Westgarth, professor of history of the art market at the University of Leeds, frames this surge in fossil collecting as part of a broader renaissance, one where buying fossils is intertwined with status, a craving for distinction, and the appreciation of their dramatic forms. He even brings up the case of Mary Anning, a pioneering 19th-century fossil collector whose sales directly spurred public and scientific interest. In his view, the marketplace and scientific discovery can exist in a kind of partnership, with private ownership sometimes accelerating research and public engagement. Of course, The record-setting sale of Apex the Stegosaur, for $44.6 million last year only poured more fuel on this debate. Are historic fossils better served on a billionaire's mantle or in a museum where all can learn from them? And this is the part most people miss. While high-profile sales bring attention and possibly even resources to paleontology, they also risk distancing extraordinary specimens from the wider public and, in some cases, delaying or preventing vital scientific study. So, what do you think? Should fossils like these be treated as collectible investments for the ultra-rich, or should access to our shared prehistoric heritage always prioritize education and public science? Is there a perfect balance between the private market and the public good, or are we in danger of losing irreplaceable pieces of our planet's story? Join the discussion in the comments and let us know where you stand, because this is one debate that's far from extinct.